Yeah! Honestly, brilliant, fantastic. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. You are watching our Matchday Highlights and Word Show. We have just witnessed West Ham walk away with another away victory. We've went to Goodison Park. We've taken the 3 points home. What a reaction from the Brentford game, Matt. Talk to me, mate. Talk to me.
It's, you know what? It's everything we needed. But I think, as Russ said, it was, we don't normally do well after the international break, whereas today was, for large parts of the game, very untypical of us. It was very high octane, high, quick passing, sharp movement. Balanced play probably just deserved it, to be fair. I think we were the more incisive team.
Yeah. Yep.
And Moyes has gone up there and won back-to-back games now.
Absolutely buzzing, mate. I mean, listen, going into the game, and we'll dissect the game in a second. We done the preview last night, and you know, we weren't really sure what team Moyes was going to put out, if I'm being brutally honest, and we both were being brutally honest. But he's just stuck to his guns, and he believes in the team so much. He believes in this team so much. And I don't know why when we do these preview shows that we sit there and we think and we try to dissect and go, I think you should put Areola in, I think you should put this player in, that player in, all that sort of stuff. Because what Moyes does is doesn't give two shits about what we say, does what he wants, and he gets it right. And he's got himself another 3 points away from home, mate. I mean, it's fantastic. And what a way to bounce back after the defeat against Brentford, eh?
Oh, absolutely. If we'd have lost today, there might be people saying, oh, look, 2 losses in a row. We'd have been probably down mid-table somewhere. But the win just keeps us in touch with the pack, pushing for the European places, keeps up there, puts us back above Everton on goal difference.
Absolutely.
Clean sheet. Big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm buzzing. I don't know if you can tell. I'm absolutely buzzing. You know, got the Sunday roast dinner on. I really wish I was at the game, but I can't just because of circumstances. And yeah, I'm just absolutely over the moon with that. I think that's a really important victory, mate. A really important victory for West Ham, innit?
Oh, it is. Like, especially as we were saying before, like the game, I know maybe the last 1 or 2 games we might have won at Goodison, but historically we did not travel there for years. Well, Merseyside in general, but you know, it was the away, and I think that makes our away form ridiculous. I don't think we've lost away from home in like 17 games or something, 15 games now away from home.
It's ridiculous, mate. Ridiculous. Well, I tell you what. I mean, let's dissect the game as much as we possibly can, and then we'll kind of go in and we'll take what before we even do that. Let's go and say hi to everyone in the chat. Let's see who's in and start putting your comments in and let us know your thoughts. Neil T's in saying afternoon, happy hammers. Yes, we are, Neil, mate. Paul Flower, away. West Ham 3 points. Absolutely buzzing with that. You've just seen that image you've just sent me, mate. Yeah. Oh my word.
Don't know if you can get that up on the screen some point.
I'm gonna work on getting that up for everyone just now. It shouldn't be too long. It should be in, hopefully. Gary J's giving us the Hammers Cross. Freshfielders saying yo. Father Snowman saying afternoon all. Matthew Lowe saying morning till 5 in Melbourne time. Jonas saying come on, you Irons. This is our most important win yet. Everton could have gone 6 points ahead of us. But now we are 6. I'm so happy, guys. Yep, absolutely. Aiden is saying, yeah, wins like that will keep us in the top 6. James Farmer saying, can I get a we are massive? We are massive, mate. Where's Lee?
Where's Lee Vasallo?
Where is Lee Vasallo when you need a Lee Vasallo? Good job we started Augie over the up. Hey, Anton, less Neil T, mate. I know. Listen, I'll hold my hand up and I'll say when I need to say. I'm wrong a lot. It's just the nature of the world we live in. Father Snowman, super duper. We are massive. Crosshammer, we are massive. Everton away in fantastic 3 points again from James Bong. Irish Tommy saying great result today. Rice was world class. He is a special player. Mate, you can say that again, Irish Tommy. He really was. We will dissect a little bit more in a second. But yeah, absolutely unbelievable performance from the man himself, Mr. Declan Rice today. We then got Reece Cook saying we needed that. Yes, absolutely. Narky, oh, come on, there it is there. What a result. Getting you irons. Clive Trevlin. Afternoon, peeps. Good to see you, Clive. Neil from Down Under. South Australia, 1:42 a.m. on a Monday morning. Go. God, Bona. Absolutely. Roll on Thursday. Peach is in the house. Hope you're well, mate. So pleased for David Moyes at Goodison. Can't go to sleep because I'm so happy with the win. Hi, Peach. Peter Singh is saying that win, in my opinion, is one of the most important in the last couple of years for many reasons. Absolutely. Graham Lindsay saying hi from Alberta, up nice and early for this one, but way worth it. Wonderful performance today, except we, as usual, are so wasteful in front of goal. But that aside, fantastic. Come on, you irons. Jonas saying, Matthew, yes, it's fantastic. Bernie's saying we just about edged it, but I'm sure Moyes thought it would be a draw. But a 1-0 win is massive. Vinay is saying, I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get the sack. West Ham can finish above Man United with his assistance. Absolutely. So I'll tell you what, mate. I mean, we've gone through so many comments we can, and we will come back onto them in a second. But let's go through the game itself. The starting lineup, mate, what was your thoughts?
I say, look, as we said, we tried to predict it. Internet, Twitter, night before the game was a riot with rumours because Moyes had alluded to injuries. It seemed like the injuries actually affected the bench more than the first team. I would have liked to have seen Areola. However, barring Johnson, that's probably our strongest 11 at the moment.
Yeah.
So couldn't really argue with it. Like, he's gone full force. Yeah.
So get your comments in and let us know your thoughts on the starting 11. Were you happy? Were you disappointed? Are you just saying that now because we've walked away with the points? And then, of course, you had Everton's starting 11, mate. What did you think of them?
I actually managed to find some, a website that predicted this would be the 11. Again, if you look at their bench, that is literally the strongest team they could put out. 4-2-3-1, sort of similar to us.
Yeah.
Lots of pace going forward for the three behind the striker, target man, two very good hold midfielders. It was a solid. It's not their best team, they were missing Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who would have probably taken, Iwobi and Rondon's places.
Mm-hmm.
But on the whole, they're still a very strong team for them. They just, again, like us, didn't have any option on the bench, so it was set up to be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So we go into the game itself. Really, to be honest, the first 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, West Ham dictated all of the play. What was your thoughts in the first kind of 20 minutes?
Very un-West Ham after international break. Very high tempo, high up the pitch, snappy, incisive passing. Where there was points in the first minutes we were camped in their half without really finding that final ball. And then there was a couple of half chances that got blocked that may have threatened the keeper if it had gone through.
Yeah.
But we were comfortable in the first 20 minutes, and it was comfortable without just finding that incisiveness at the end of it. But then something must have happened. Whether it was, you'd probably say it was Benitez, maybe it was one of the assistant or one of the coaches, but you could see after about 20 minutes that something was said to the players. Something was relayed to the Everton players on the pitch. They pushed themselves 10, 15 yards up the pitch. They started pressing higher, hassling our midfield and defenders, which they weren't doing for the first 20 minutes. They were happy to sit deep.
Yeah.
And then they started getting into the game. It was...
But, I mean, the first, as a performance in the first 20 minutes, you've got to kind of think, like you said there, mate, if we dissect it a little bit more, we were on the front foot. We were talking, we had Mike sent us a video in from the Blue Boys Network. We know Everton really like to play on the back foot and counter-attack. And West Ham sometimes struggle by holding most of the possession. But I think the stats in the first 15, 20 minutes were showing in favour of West Ham by literally 80%. It was so drastic.
We were camped in their half.
Yeah.
Rarely do I see a West Ham team where our centre-backs are on the halfway line. That's something you'd expect like a Man United or a Man City or a Chelsea.
Yeah.
They really did give up the possession and the space. And I think it was weird because I don't think the crowd particularly helped either. I had a little bit of sound on, and I know a lot of people said about it on the internet as well, and comments saying about it. It was a very subdued Goodison Park.
Yeah.
Much like when we first moved into London Stadium, and I don't know if that hindered the players as well, like why they were sitting so deep, letting us control the possession. But
Yeah.
we had a very composed, solid. Well, we was composed solid for most of the game, but it was a situation the first 20, 25 minutes we didn't expect to be in, where they literally just gave us the ball and was like, "You try and do something, and we'll sit back and try and counter."
Yeah.
Without offering really little anything to us at all. One chance I can really think of might have been
Oh, I didn't want to bring
cut
that
back,
up yet.
and a ball got cut back to, was it Fornals or Bowen or something? He had a snapshot.
Yeah.
Might have been going bottom corner and got blocked.
But one thing that did concern us though very early on was the fact that Antonio picked up a very early yellow card. I know, and it did. You know, you're starting to panic at that point, and we were jesting, we were making jokes, saying, you know, he desperately wanting to play in the Europa League game against Genk. I wouldn't even be surprised if he does play in the Europa League game against Genk anyway. But the fact of the matter is that it was early doors. It was 9 minutes into the game that did happen. How did you think Benny played in the first half in particular?
Benrahma was in that position where Fornals, where they were chopping and changing out of the wing and in the middle. He was picking up space. He was trying to link up. Like, I don't know if he was just trying to. I don't know if he just the effort was there, but something wasn't clicking. Like the final thing, but you couldn't fault his endeavour or his willingness to get in space, pick up the ball, try and pick out a pass. I think there was one cross where he actually tried to whip it into Antonio in the box, and like if it was a foot and a half lower, he'd whipped it into Antonio's chest in the box. And he might have done something. Instead, he put it like just over his head and it went out. He was trying, and that's what we needed. We needed some sort of spark of inventiveness. He was trying to offer it, and it just wasn't quite. It just wasn't quite there, but he was willing, and you know that's what you need at times in an attacking player.
Here's something interesting for you. After 25 minutes, here's the stats for the game. After 25 minutes, West Ham had 76% possession and 33.8% of that in Everton's half. What do you think of that?
It's not something you'd really expect, you know. Years gone by, going to Goodison Park. You know what? If that was 3, 4, 5 years ago, Goodison Park, if you'd have swapped the badges round, that's what you'd expect. You know, if the stats were flipped, that's what you normally expect. You wouldn't expect, even last year under Ancelotti, when they were trying to be a more ball controlled and attacking team, you'd not expect, even maybe a David Moyes team at Everton, I wouldn't expect a West Ham team to go there and have 76% possession for the first 20, 25 minutes. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That really wasn't a away team performance from Everton in the first half.
Yep, it really was, mate. It really was. But we're moving into the game after 25 minutes. Everton started to pick up a little bit. They were kind of coming at West Ham. They were really kind of playing the ball through Rondon and Townsend. What did you think of Rondon in particular? You know,
I like him.
Yeah,
I think it was a handful. I think he'd done his job. I would have been one that if he'd have been up for it, I would have been one that I thought Moyes might have tried to pick up in the summer. You know, he's not an out-and-out finisher, but for the way we play, I think he really would have actually matched it. You know, he won most of his headers.
Yeah,
you know,
he did actually. Yeah, he was always getting in front of our. He was getting in front of our defense.
Centre-backs, Ogbonna and Zumo. He showed he still had that yard of pace. Maybe not to burn certain players, but he ran Ogbonna a few times. He ran Creswell a couple of times.
Yeah,
to hold the ball up.
But to be honest, though, he had the biggest chance in the first half. You could say, well, between him and Iwobi, I think it was Iwobi first. The ball got crossed in. I mean, I think was it Damari Gray skipped past. Well, Damari Gray skipped past Ogbonna very easily, crossed the ball in, and it's went under Iwobi's legs. I mean, he was literally 8 yards out. To be fair, I think Johnson potentially had enough cover to maybe block the shot. We'll never know.
I'll be honest, you should be scoring from there.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, perfectly honest. You should be scoring from there. Damari Gray. We said before the game that we worried. The only thing we worried about was the pace of Damari Gray and Townsend and Iwobi. And yeah, once Ogbonna got squared up Damari Gray. The only thing he could try and do was force him inside. He didn't. He went down the wing, blitzed him. And I don't know if there was a lack of communication West Ham got lucky on, because Rondon had his back to goal on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it looked like he was going to take the touch, and then maybe at the last second he got the call from Iwobi and he left it, and then Iwobi's gone to play it, and he literally just kicked air and he's nutmegged himself, and it's rolled out to the other side of the box, and Bowen's harried it away, and that really was the big chance in the first half for either team.
Really, absolutely. However, West Ham did put the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out. West Ham had really good work from Bowen, who found space in the pocket, and from about 20 yards, he stings a low drive in that Pickford pushes away. Souček followed up, put the ball into the back of the net from close range. However, upon looking back on it, he was offside for the chance.
It was a very easy decision. It was a good bit of play, good snapshot from Bowen. Questionable goalkeeping, as I said about Pickford when he plays for Everton. It's, anyone that watches England sees Pickford play as an amazing goalkeeper, and he plays for Everton. You're a bit like, he should have done better with the parry, parried it out to Souček. Souček getting further forward this game in today, and like I said there, he made the run. He was the last furthest player forward, made the run, followed it up. Good tight finish, but it wasn't even like we weren't even getting the old lines out. We weren't doing the armpit down to the floor.
Yeah,
he was like almost entirely a body offside. But it was promising.
I want to bring you on to this comment from Neil T. What did you think, and how did you rate Ben Johnson, who started today's game in right back?
For me, and we'll probably go into it later, but I thought he was man of the match. I'll give it to Johnson. I thought he did himself no disservice at all. It's only really. I mean, he played the Europa League game.
Yep.
When he had Yarmolenko in front of him, and he sort of struggled a bit because of the mobility of Yarmolenko. But today, playing in a back four that had Souček and Bowen basically with him, he looked very composed. He wasn't rushed on the ball. He didn't panic. He made some good passes, good tackles, good tracking back. Like, he had a very good, solid, composed game entirely. I don't think I really fought for much at all.
After we gone in at half time, 0-0. It's a great performance, great start from West Ham. The game kind of nullified itself out. Came out in the second half, no substitutions made. Both teams, it felt like it was a bit end-to-end-ish. Really, it wasn't end-to-end in terms of excitement, but there was chances for either team. Both teams were trying to create something. On the 60th minutes, these were the stats, though, in the game. It was becoming a bit more equal. West Ham still had most possession with 52%. And again, the game was getting played more in our half because Everton were progressing a bit further forward. Is that kind of what we expected, though?
There was no way. Look, I know some people said in the chat that they would play better, but there was no way they were going to be as pedestrian in the second half as they were in the first. Everton, they gave up a lot of space, a lot of the ball, and you could clearly see whether it was Benitez or like Duncan Ferguson or something. Someone gave him a rollick in half time and was like, "You're the home team. You need to do better." And they did do better. They had more of the ball, but as I said to Russ at the end of the game, I was like, they didn't. If you notice, nothing really came down the middle of the pitch for Everton. Souček and Rice rejigged themselves, got themselves back on page, and nothing really come through. Even Doucouré, when he was trying to get the ball, was drifting out onto the wing. Most of their opportunities came from crosses, and they never really, thanks to body blocks from West Ham players, Fabianski, I don't think, had a save to make, like a proper save.
Well, he did. I mean, in the first half, one particular, I think it was a ball that got crossed in. I don't know if it was from a corner, and we were discussing it, and he had the chance to. He probably could have put his two hands on it and held it, and he kind of parried it out. It was a bit like he went for it and then thought, "Oh, I might not," and we were lucky that no one was in the way there for that. To be honest,
yeah. That was probably the only thing he really had to do.
Yeah.
He caught a couple of corners under no pressure. But credit to the defence and Rice and Souček for that. Second half, they didn't really... Newcastle had a couple of chances, like you said. They got back in the game, but when the midfield was broken, when the wingers were beaten, when the ball was whipped in...
Yep.
Ogbonna, Diop, Souček, Rice at
Zuma.
the time, all stood up to be counted when it mattered. And just to come off topic, but Newcastle just scored.
There you go. There you go. Matt, I want to talk to you about one player, another player, not just one player, and that's Townsend. What did you think of Townsend in the game today?
Mate, we said it on the preview last night, and we both agreed. He was a player that I would have had. And I thought we had a good game, Townsend. For what he is, for what he does. We nullified him, didn't let him get any chances for a shot in. However, especially in the second half, he was getting more of the ball. He was able to drift in, cut in off Creswell, and whip balls in. I mean, there was a couple of times where I didn't think he'd be able to get the cross in. He had his back to goal near the corner spot, and he's just not even looked and just put a ball into a dangerous area.
Yeah.
And he put some really good crosses in. There was one, I believe it was from him as well, that was very deep, that Rondon flicked on. He got in front of Zuma and it went wide of the back post. You know what he gets. That's why I say I was surprised Moyes didn't go for him. He's got sort of a Moyes play written all over him. He's a left footer that plays on the right wing. He has the work rate. He will track back and get stuck in. He does work hard. Got a cross on him. Got a goal in him. I thought he was a very. People questioned at the time when he got signed. People were like, "Oh, it's a freebie. What's this Rafa's doing?" But I think he's a solid player, and I think it's one West Ham may have let get away. To be honest.
Well, let me move on to the 74th minute, which was a pivotal part, or the main part, really, of the game as a West Ham fan. The ball gets whipped in, and I think it's tried to be cleared from Godfrey, who hits the ball up into the space. And as it's coming down, Antonio, rightly so, challenges Pickford for the ball. Now, there's not a single ounce of a foul in this. I'll admit it, he's done it once this season, and there was a foul. I can't remember who that was against. However, he went rightly so, and he challenged perfectly well. Pickford, he heads the ball, and Pickford saves. It goes out for a corner. People were calling it a foul on Pickford. It absolutely wasn't, and I'm not just saying that as just a West Ham fan. It absolutely wasn't, and I wouldn't even have been called for it. You can't call for that because there's absolutely nothing in it. Ball goes out for a corner. West Ham, no set piece goal this season. Who steps up to the job? What a ball whipped in. I think it was from Bowen, was it?
Bowen, I believe, yeah.
And Oggy is there to put the ball into the back of the nets.
I mean, thankfully, I'm not picking a team because he wouldn't have been starting then.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be on the pitch to score, would he?
Good goal.
It was a. You know what? I want to say it's a good goal, but it's about frigging time. And I don't mean that in a sense that, like, we haven't scored a set piece yet this season, which we hadn't. But how many games in a row, for how many corners in a row, have they played that near post corner?
Yeah.
And we normally never even get a touch on the ball. We finally got one and scored. As for the foul, no, it's not. Like, I'm not being funny. I spoke with Russ before we came off, and I compared it to give you a comparison between two headers. You had the one at Leeds when he jumped. I didn't think it was a booking. However, he jumped with his arms up here, hit the keeper in the face, and I was like, it's a foul all day long.
Yeah.
Then you had the one I compared it to, if you remember, Haller against Southampton.
Yeah.
When he jumped and McCarthy caught it, dropped it on his head, and he tapped it in. And the goal was given. That was similar to that, Pickford, again, and this is one of the things why I don't like Pickford as goalkeeper. One of the things I do detriment against him. Fantastic shot stopper, brilliant distribution. He's not very tall. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2". For a goalkeeper, that's not enough. He doesn't jump high enough. The thing I would say is I said it on the live stream. I was like, that's not a corner. It's a goal kick.
Yeah.
But then later in the game, they showed the replay and it did come off the keeper last. So I don't see what they're trying to argue about. I don't think it was enough for. Antonio didn't aggressively jump even towards the goalkeeper.
No,
he's basically jumped up on the spot to try and win the header, which he did win. He actually won the header and headed it into Pickford.
We've got the goal. We'll go 1-0 up. A couple of minutes later, Souček is lying on the floor. Accidental Rondon. He's not even looking, and his studs go smash right back into Souček's face. And we've got an image. I mean, it's not the greatest, but I mean, he's a machine. The lad is, but you can just see the studs have crossed his face. And what the biggest frustrating thing for me was, no, it wasn't a foul. What Rondon created, it was the fact that it was a head injury and the referee didn't pull it back. And this is the consistency that I'm really pissed off about in the Premier League for referees, and that alone is enough to rank. And we'll rank him later on in the show, but they need to be picking up on that, because that is he was down for such a long time.
The amount of times, like especially when we play games against teams, right? You play against, say, the bigger teams or the smarter teams at time waste. And the amount of times you see the guy go down and hold his head, and the ref blows up for a free kick. And as soon as the ref blows up, oh, look, the guy's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with him at all. Fucking look at that. Look at that. Yeah. He's literally, he's basically like a Hollywood movie villain now. He might as well been off playing football, Souček, and sign up to go along wherever's going to be the new James Bond. He could be the new James Bond villain with that gash across his eye. I just want to no, play on. Like,
I just want to reiterate that. I really want to reiterate, not digging out Rondon at all, because Rondon didn't know anything about it. Souček's face is on the floor, and Rondon's put his foot back and connected with him.
Souček's behind Rondon on the floor.
It's a full-blown head injury, and the referee
let it on. And
Everton have played on and won a corner from that. And they've then called the game back, and the game must have went on for a solid minute after the head injury. It was still down, but ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, anyway, no, it wasn't a red. Like, it wasn't even a foul.
Yeah,
but Souček was on the floor behind him, and Rondon's lost his balance. And anyone will tell you, if you're losing your balance, you're falling backwards. Yeah. You put your foot out to try and steady yourself, and that's all he's done. And unfortunately, he's trodden on him. No malice, no intent, nothing. It is literally a fall of circumstance. However, not stopping for that is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, it's stupid.
So that, West Ham see out the game. We get the 3 points. And we are going to come on later on and do the player ratings, but I just want to bring it back to a couple more players before we do head. Souček and Rice, talk to me about the lads today.
Well, me and Rice spoke to it quickly at the end. Not being funny, but, we spoke, I know you guys spoke about it, and Russ done the presser this week, and you spoke about it later in the day. And Moyes spoke about getting Souček back, and it was like, what, getting him back in defence more, or back to what he used to do? And it was no surprise for me today that, like I said, with the disallowed goal, how much further Souček was up the pitch. There was one before that when he made a run and put a cross in the box, and we didn't end up doing anything from it. But clearly, words must have been spoken, because they switched back. It was evident for me today. They've switched back. Rice went deeper, but he was still getting forward, just not free. Like, he wasn't given a free role like he's had recently. Rice, he was pick and choose your time to get forward, and he was on, especially in the second half. The game was stretching longer, and Rice was just like friggin' engine that he's got. Was just people getting leggy, and Rice was still going. But
yeah, he's phenomenal, mate. He is.
Moyes clearly said, look, Rice, Deck, you need to sit. Thomas, do what you done. We'll go back to last year. Rice, you sit and just pick your times to go forward. Deck, you get up and down all day. And it's no coincidence that, for the most part, the midfield looked more solid. As I said earlier, nothing come down the middle. Every opportunity they got come from having to work the overlap and put crosses in.
Yeah. Sorry, Sammy, we did talk about Benrahma. We did. We mentioned him in the first half. We were talking about... I think we've gone through most of the
second half, I thought he grew into it more. But as I said, I can't fault anything Benrahma did. I thought he carried the ball well. Some good deliveries in. There's a couple of deliveries. He was really, like I said, it just, that final thing for him today didn't click. But it happens. Yeah. But he had a couple of crosses that were like, there's one in the first half, just to Antonio. There was that one in the second half, and we played the clever corner kick routine. And he whipped it in, and that one was a brilliant cross to put in, because he whipped it into a horrible area around the edge of the 6-yard box penalty spot.
Yeah.
And in the end, about three Everton players nearly got ahead in it and would have knocked it in. I thought we had a solid game. I thought
you did.
I thought attacking wise we had a solid game. I just think we were. Thankfully, the defenders stood up to get the goal, because we just seemed to be. We didn't have the shooting boots on today. I think the closest we came really that I can remember would be Bowen.
Yeah. Near
the end, had a cut in on his left foot, didn't he? He tried to put one in the top corner. Pickford pulled off a brilliant save.
Yeah.
But It was very good. It was a good game. It was, like you said, brilliant to bounce back from Everton, and we kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, absolutely,
which was
mate.
brilliant. Happy about.
I've put in there in the caption, who's your man of the match? Put it in the comments. Let us know your man of the match. Tonight, 9 o'clock, Matt, I think we'll do a player rating show. So make sure you join us for that. We'll go through every single player, give them the ratings out of 10. But fair play to Moyes. Stuck to his guns. Went out there, got the result against Everton, away at home against his old club, and pushes West Ham up to 6th in the league. Matt, who was your man of the match?
Look, every week I come out here, I pretty much say Declan Rice, and
yeah,
I could quite easily, probably rightly should say Declan Rice, but today, for the way he played and the way he stepped up, I'm gonna give it to Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah,
both in defence and going forward. Don't think he put a foot wrong all game, and for he's still young. He's only like 21, and the amount of time he's had. You know, he's filled in so many times at left back, and you're like, oh, it's just that like final ball, but you can't get the cross in. But today, playing at right back with Souček and Bowen around him that are both got the legs on them as well, rather than when he had with Yarmolenko. I thought he was brilliant. You know, I mean, we had that one in the second half. We had the corner, didn't we? And they were looking to counter attack, and they had that. You remember they had that massive lofted high ball.
Yeah.
And Johnson was like backtracking, running around everywhere. Like, if he misses the ball, Damari Gray's in 1-on-1. Calm as you like, he just put it out for a throw in.
But I think you've got
what you've got. Look, people are saying Rice, and like I'm just trying to give something different. I could sit here and say Rice, and Rice has been outstanding all season. Went back to his usual position today. Later in the game, he made some brilliant lung busting runs when the rest of the midfield was getting tired. I just wanted to give it to someone a bit different. And I think for the way he performed, Johnson deserves stepping up. You know, that if you think about it, the team we put out, you would say 10 of that 11 is our starting team, right?
There you go, mate. Yarmolenko.
The only one that's not was Johnson. And, you know, Everton could have gone, well, look, there's a kid playing right back. He's not the first choice. He's not even the second choice. He's the third choice. But he didn't look like he didn't belong in that team. He looked like every bit a first-team player as much as the rest of them did.
Yeah. Cool, excellent. Well, that brings an end to our review show. So tonight, 9 o'clock, come have a. It's quick. It's actually a really good, enjoyable show. Come in and do your ratings. We've got a poll that goes on the YouTube channel. We engage with the chat as well. You can rate every single player that's played today, and we'll have images and videos and all that sort of stuff. So come in and join us at 9 o'clock tonight for the player ratings. However, West Ham have walked away with 3 points away from home again in the Premier League at Goodison Park against Everton. Moyes 1, Benitez 0. That's what we'll take from today. If you are new around here, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment once the video has been ended. Please, of course, hit the thumbs up. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, go and check out all our membership programs. But thank you very much for joining us. Matt, any last words you want to say before we head?
Let's keep some momentum going for Thursday.
Yeah.
Get the win Thursday and then go and beat Tottenham next week.
Yep, you can say that again, mate. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons.